you hear them talking during today's hearing with RFK Jr. They talk about how they had to cull 1 million chickens because that's how serious this H5N1 flu is.
1 million.
That's also why eggs were so expensive for a while.
Well, that's it. It's all part of the
Trump's
plan,
fault.
people. It's
Yeah,
Trump's
Trump,
fault.
obviously.
Everything they can do to fraudulently inflate prices, they'll do and then blame it on Trump.
Yes.
So they're culling chickens by the millions now because of H5N1. Even though in Canada there has been one case, I believe, a hospitalization of a kid in, I want to say Alberta. In Canada now, they are forcing a British Columbia ostrich farm to, I don't even what, cull is a very technical term that dissociates the emotion from what they're going to do or have to do or what they want them to do, slaughter over 400 of their ostriches on their farm, some of which have been in the family for 34 years. It's called Universal Ostrich Farms out of Edgewood, British Columbia. They had a bunch of them died. It's an ostrich farm. Ostriches get sick. Some of them died. I think it was like, say, 60 some odd of there were 500 ostriches.
If you say so, it's the first time I'm hearing ostrich farming is a thing in Canada.
Oh, no. Up where I was in Quebec, there was an ostrich farm where I used to get ostrich eggs from, ostrich meat. I used to make videos about it. It was classic. So there's an ostrich farm. It's called Universal Ostrich Farm in British Columbia. They had a bunch die. They got sick and died. They tested 2. It's called the CFIA. It's basically, I don't want to say the FDA, give or take, but it's the Canadian Food Inspection Agency.
I love it how they add C to everything that's Canadian.
Yeah, it's not scary if you put Canadian in.
Yeah.
It's nice and polite, eh? So the CFIA comes in, tests 2 of the dead birds with oral and anal swabs and the visuals of anal swabbing. Ostriches are, well, they're dead at this time.
Okay, they're dead.
And they do the PCR test. Notoriously hyper responsive for false positives because depending on what the cycle rate is, you can pick up dead proteins and falsely diagnose whatever. These test positive for H5N1. They get an order from the agency. There's no court involved in this. It's a bureaucratic agency that they've got to slaughter all of the ostriches on that farm. That the government can come in and seize every piece of property on there that might be contaminated. Jeez. And so this farmer, the
seize and keep or seize to kill the ostriches and then goes back to the land.
Material property.
Anything.
Anything. Like
so anything that could come in contact with the virus that could be
ostrich
contaminated.
eggs that they have painted for Easter.
Your car.
The car, sheets, feathers, ornaments. The owners of this farm. Not
dildos if they're at your house.
I keep
Everything.
them on me. That's fine.
So I had on Katie, who's the daughter of the woman who owns the farm. Well, let's play this here because we're going to get into the logistics and the sheer horror of what they're asking this farmer to do. I mean, I have to ask logistically, are you supposed to shoot them with a shotgun or are you supposed to cut their heads off?
They don't know, and I'm going to be honest, we don't know. Biggest question to the world is how do you go out to your 400 cattle, your 400 goats, your 400 sheep, and you look at them and they're eating normal and they're acting normal, and off 2 tests, you're supposed to go out there by yourself and you're supposed to kill them. There's no humane way to kill 400 healthy animals.
Make you slaughter your own animals. You're supposed to then get in an excavator and dig up 9 meters deep, 40 different pits, bury the carcasses of 400 ostriches, 9 meters deep. What level of topsoil must there be?
I think it's 2 meters. They don't know the ostrich, so let me just put out there, you can't walk in there with them. They're extremely dangerous. They have to know you. A gunshot goes off, we're going to have ostriches caught in fences. Like, they are a very nervous animal.
So for those who don't know, ostriches weigh 300 pounds. They're like 8 feet tall if you count the neck. They can kill a lion with their talons. They will disembowel. They kick and then strike down. They go like, and they will disembowel. A one-on-one, it's a 50-50 between a lion and an ostrich. They are. She says the ostriches are intelligent. I've seen them. I've been to farms. They look dumb, but that doesn't mean anything. They're chickens. They're big-ass chickens that can kill you. And they got an order from the Canadian government to slaughter over 400 healthy ostriches. It's not open to the public. They're not selling the meat. They got the order to kill them all. They have to kill them. They have to dispose of their bodies under this order from the CFIA. The way they have to dispose of their bodies, 9-meter pits, dig them deep. Like it's like a veritable mass cemetery. With a crane, an excavator, to go in and slaughter an ostrich. Like, you do one at a time, and like she's saying, you shotgun one, all of the other ones are going to freak out. You cut the head off. I presume it's sort of like cutting the head off a chicken, where it can run around and kill while its head is cut off. And then they give them a link to a mental wellness site afterwards because they might be a little bit traumatized after having slaughtered their animals, some of which have been in the family for 34 years.
What did they say? No, Dave. What did they go? You know what? We're not killing them.
Well, this is what they're doing now. So they're trying to get to court and get an emergency injunction to enjoin the enforcement of this slaughter order. But this is what they did with COVID, is that they create this trauma, they create this terror, and then they say, oh my goodness, we had to cull 1 million chickens. That's how serious H5N1 is. We had to cull 400 plus ostriches, and that's how serious this is. It is an administrative state run amok. And God willing, they will get a court involved to say, first of all, if it's a risk of transmission, it's not open to the public. They're in the middle of nowhere in British Columbia. If it's an issue of transmission, what are you going to do? Kill all the migratory birds that are in the area?
Yeah.
And all of this based on one case of bird flu, which was not even contracted from coming into contact with a chicken in Canada. And I'm just trying to put the story on as much blast as humanly possible. Rebel News covered it, but it's actual horror. They're trying to get people basically to kill their pets. And these animals have, first of all, they have scientific value because some of them survived whatever cold they had that killed the other ones. They can be studied, they can be quarantined, which is what they are, but instead you get a government saying, slaughter them in the horror that goes into slaughtering 400 plus massive, beautiful ostriches, healthy. And that's Canada, people.
Oh, fuck.
This is insane. Like
it's insane.
I can't. Come on.
Like people don't. There's like you. Okay, think about. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us in here. Could you imagine 400, 300, over 300-pound ostriches that she loves them, and you're gonna murder every single one of them?
But they're healthy. But this is like Peanut and Fred 2.0 on steroids. Like the government comes and says, "Hey, we got an anonymous call that they got rabies." Well, we tested 2 dead birds from however long ago. They tested positive under the PCR test for avian flu. Slaughter all of them?
No.
And then they're gonna say, "Oh shit! Now look at this. How do you get mass starvations? You get a socialist communist state coming in with its bureaucracies, slaughtering the food." And then say, oh, yeah, also got to cut down emissions for farming. And then, oh, look at this. We have 100 million people starving to death. Another problem the government's got to come in and solve.
Yeah, I'm anti that.
Next thing you know, they're declaring war on the canaries and all those other things that led to the Great Famine in China that killed everybody during Mao's Great Leap Forward. This is the problem with these overreaching. And you compared it to Peanut the squirrel, which showed like what they killed the squirrel in order to do the rabies test. They confirmed that after the fact.
Yeah.
Like, they got an anonymous tip that Peanut the squirrel had rabies. They killed him and then conducted the test. Because apparently there's no way to test a living squirrel for rabies, I guess.
No, there actually isn't. And Fred the raccoon. But the whole point is, first of all, there's never been a case of a human contracting rabies from a squirrel.
Yeah.
The raccoon had been in the family forever, so they pretty much knew it didn't have rabies. They come in, they create the terror so they can justify these administrative bodies. But it was I couldn't believe the story. And the story's entirely accurate. They have until February 1st to slaughter 400 plus healthy ostriches.
2 days?
2 days. And hopefully they get a court order to enjoin, at least temporarily.
Hopefully. If not, I think it's a poison job.
Mm-hmm.
They poison them?
Yeah, because they're nervous animals. They're dangerous.
Yeah, but I mean, God.
Honestly, you want to know what you do? If the court won't give you the injunction,
Let them free.
let them free. Just open the gate and be like, all right, you guys figure it out.
Forget that. So you guys, but then you let them do it, and then there was an incident where third parties went in and slaughtered the chickens in another case, and the owners come back and like they're finding chicken heads in random places. Like they come back to see blood on walls. Like third party executioners that the government's going to send in with machine guns.
Yeah, well, dude, I hope let me know because now I want to know about that freaking story.
So if you like this clip, click right here, and if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.